Welcome back. You're still with Newsroom on SABC News. South Africa's brain drain problems have been reversed over the past few years, thanks in part to weak economies elsewhere in the world. An Adcorp employment report released this week shows that since the global financial crisis began in 2008, close to 360,000 high-skilled South Africans have returned home from foreign work assignments. Adcorp labour market economist Loan Sharp joins us today in studio to talk about what this trend means for local business and then the wider economy. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Evan.
Let's start at the beginning. What are the main reasons? People always paint this bleak picture about how terrible our country is and how things are not working. What are the main reasons for people coming back? It must be financial, but there must be other factors as well.
Yeah, I think South Africans have great expectations when they leave to other English-speaking countries, which are the main destination for immigrating South Africans, like the US and the UK, Canada and Australia. And their expectations are to some extent met, but their standards of living drop, and I think they only realize this when they are abroad. So weak labour markets in those English-speaking countries have come at a time when South Africa is desperately short of skills. So there are 829,000 vacancies in the private sector in South Africa. These are high-skilled jobs that could be filled immediately if only the skills were available. So to give you an example, the general unemployment rate for the population as a whole is 37%. The unemployment rate for high-skilled professionals is just 4%. So the South African labour market has been much stronger for high-skilled professionals, and wages have risen much more rapidly than they have in other countries around the world.
What does this mean? You know, we always talk about unemployment, people coming out of university, can't get jobs and so forth. What does it mean for graduates looking for jobs in South Africa? Some people say it's a negative. I think it's actually a positive, wouldn't it be?
Well, the university and other tertiary institutions in South Africa are not producing the kind of skills that the workplace requires. So, for example, at universities, the professional bodies have a cozy arrangement with the universities where they're increasing the supply of doctors, lawyers, accountants, engineers and so on by just between 0.1 and 2% per annum, where the economy actually needs 8 or 9% per annum growth in these professions. At the same time, universities are diverting students into the arts and humanities and social sciences where there isn't great demand in the workplace. Our FET college system is a shambles. You have no greater chance of finding work with an FET qualification than without it. And this is worrying because government is spending resources more and more on FET colleges. So the local supply of high-skilled labour is very small. And combining that with tough immigration laws that make it very hard for foreigners with high skills to work in South Africa, we have a very limited supply. So it's great news that South Africans are returning from abroad in large numbers.
I want to go back to those who are returning. Yes, it's good news and it's a positive, and you know, it peps up the mood of South Africans actually coming back. But what does it mean for the wider economy?
Well, for every South African who returns from abroad, in fact, every high-skilled job that is created, the number of lesser skilled jobs that is created in the formal and informal sectors is between 8 and 9. So for one job, we create an extra 8 or 9 jobs. It's not simply a case of foreigners or foreign South Africans taking a job from a local South African. The labour market for high skills is so stretched that it can absorb nearly 1 million people before we have problems. So I think this is an incredibly positive thing for South Africa. There's no question that the overall limit to our growth rate as an economy is the absence of skills. So anything that boosts our local supply of skills is very positive for the economy and long-term growth.
Finally, I want to ask you, how long do you see this continuing in South Africa?
It will continue, I think, as long as labour markets in other countries remain depressed. There are signs that the labor market in the United States is turning around, but at the same time the US has made it much harder for foreigners to enter that country. Labor markets are not yet turning around in the UK or Europe or Australia. So I think we've probably got 3 to 5 years of continuing return by South Africans from abroad.
And just quickly, how many people come back every year, or sort of an average?
It varies, and it has been rising over the last few years, about 60,000 in 2013 alone. We notice from government statistics on tourism and migration that the number of South Africans leaving every month exceeds the number returning by between 2 and 11,000. So there is still a net immigration, but probably people traveling on different passports, people traveling for tourism purposes. From a work seeker point of view, over the last 5 years, the trend has been net immigration.
That is very, very good news. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. That is Adcorp labour market economist Loan Sharp, bringing us a little bit of good news that all is not doom and gloom here in South Africa. Thank you.